heart of New York City, within the confines of Madison Square Garden, chaos is unfolding. Sue Storm, her voice filled with frustration and desperation, shouts, "For the love of Pete, this ain't right. Bruce, Hulk, you can't do this." She continues, "He'll do whatever he wants, Rick Jones." Sue knows the dire situation they're in, but she can't bear to watch as Hulk's tyranny takes hold. Meek, one of Hulk's allies, coldly adds, "And as long as those puny humans wear our obedience discs, they can't stop him. Now the Hulk has spoken, so kill him, Reed Richards. Kill your Iron Man." The threat is clear, and Meek's words echo the cruel power that Hulk now commands. The fate of their allies rests in Reed's hands. Reed Richards, however, refuses to give in. With unwavering determination, he declares, "No, I won't do it. I won't." He's resolute, refusing to become a weapon in Hulk's brutal campaign. The tension is palpable as Reed stands against the overwhelming force Hulk has become. But the question remains, how long can he hold his ground? Hulk, his voice filled with fury, confronts Reed Richards with a searing accusation. "Why not, Richards? You already killed a whole world, the planet Sakaar, where the warring tribes had finally come together, where children played on the shuttle you sent, the shuttle you exploded. My people, my wife, and the child in her belly. You killed them all." Hulk's words are a painful reminder of the devastation caused by the actions of Reed and his allies, a past that now haunts Reed as he faces the consequences of his decisions. Reed, desperate to explain himself, responds, "No, Hulk, I've tried to tell." But Hulk's rage interrupts him. "Why stop now?" Hulk's words are sharp, condemning, and unforgiving. In a final attempt to turn the tide, Reed calls out to Tony, urging him, Tony, use your powers to override the discs." Tony, struggling against the control of the obedience discs, responds, "Close, just need a few more. Now, I can't stop." But it's too late. Reed, in his frustration and desperation, attacks the ground with his stretched out form, the sound of the impact reverberating through the arena. Chunk! Tensions are high as Reed and Tony scramble to regain control, but the weight of their past mistakes and the Hulk's wrath continue to bear down on them. Tony, his voice shaky from the tension, exclaims, "Whoa, almost." As the weight of the situation settles in, Reed lifts Tony up, his words carrying a sense of disbelief and awe. "Tony, you did it." Tony, though still struggling with the effects of the obedience disc, quickly corrects him. "No, Reed, I've only cracked 2 sectors on my disc. Haven't even touched yours. It was him." Tony's words hint at the presence of someone far more powerful at work behind the scenes, but it's clear that the real power lies with Hulk. In the midst of the chaos, Ello and Meek shout in confusion and anger, "Hulk, why do they live?" Rick Jones, with a sad, knowing look, responds calmly, "Because you don't know the real Hulk, Meek." Hulk's voice, filled with challenge, cuts through the air as he asks, "And you think you do?" The question hangs heavy, a reminder that the Hulk is a force beyond comprehension, and those around him are still struggling to fully understand the depth of his anger and power. The intense battle in the arena comes to an abrupt halt as Hulk stands tall, his voice booming through the tension-filled air. "Remember this, puny humans," he declares, his tone cold and resolute. "We came here for justice, not murder, so no one on your planet has died by our hands, and no one will, but we'll make sure no one on Earth will ever forget what you are." The words hit hard, each one dripping with anger and the weight of the Hulk's mission. Iron Man, Reed Richards, Doctor Strange, and Black Bolt respond, their voices filled with frustration and guilt. "Liars, traitors, and killers. For the last time, Bruce, we didn't." Hulk's rage intensifies as he cuts them off, his words full of finality. "Now, we'll raze this city to the ground and leave you to shame." Doctor Strange, trying one last time to reason with the Hulk, replies, "We've tried to explain again and again, but you won't listen. So this This is your last chance to surrender. For a moment, there's a tense silence before Hulk, his confusion evident, responds with a simple, chilling question. Or what? The stage is set for the ultimate showdown as the line between justice and vengeance blurs for the Hulk, and the fate of Earth hangs in the balance. The tension in the arena reaches its peak as a new force enters the fray, the Sentry. With a powerful explosion, he destroys the arena's structure, his punch hitting the Hulk with an earth-shattering quagloom. "Hello, old friend," Sentry says coldly, his voice full of determination. Hulk, battered and bloodied, warns, "You don't want this fight, Sentry." But Sentry's resolve is unwavering. "Yes, God help me, I do, because you're the only one I can hit like this." With that, he unleashes a brutal barrage of punches. Pam, 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 pack, pack, scrack-rack, poom, each one landing with bone-crushing force. The Hulk, now feeling the weight of the battle, responds with fierce defiance. "All right, Stark, Richards, all you. Never forget, whatever happens next, it is on your heads." The two titans clash with a fury that's almost impossible to describe. Sentry lands another crushing blow to Hulk's face, but Hulk, never one to back down, retaliates with a devastating strike. Crackle, Kram. Both heroes are bleeding, their bodies battered, but neither showing any sign of giving up. The battle escalates, both Sentry and Hulk unleashing their ultimate power. The resulting explosion, boom, is deafening, shaking the very earth beneath them. Korg, watching from the sidelines, turns to Ben Grimm, asking, "Ben Grimm, what's your Sentry doing?" Ben, grimacing, replies, "He ain't mine, Korg. But if I had to guess, I'd say he's busting out the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns." Reed Richards, his voice filled with disbelief, looks on in shock. "But he's an agoraphobic schizophrenic terrified of his own power. He's never unleashed it like before. Tony, what the hell did you tell him?" The stakes are higher than ever, as two of the strongest beings on Earth battle it out, with the fate of everything hanging in the balance. Tony Stark, watching the battle unfold, somberly mutters, "I said that sometimes to do the right thing, you just have to play God." His words hang in the air, the weight of the decision heavy on his conscience. General Ross, observing the chaos, scowls, his frustration boiling over. "You morons, trading one monster for another." He sees the destruction Sentry is causing and knows that this is spiraling out of control. Hiroim, however, steps in to clarify, his voice steady despite the destruction. "Not monster, General Ross. He is a world breaker." The meaning of his words cuts deeper. This is no ordinary battle. The Hulk's power, his anger, can break worlds. As the battle rages on, the inevitable happens. Hulk, overcome by Sentry's devastating power, begins to fall. With a mighty crash, he plummets from the sky, his immense form crashing to the ground, drained by the force of Sentry's assault. Rick Jones watches in horror, his voice filled with dread as he exclaims, "Oh God, no, just everything else on the planet." The fear is palpable. This is a catastrophic moment. Meek, ever unshaken, scoffs at the worry, his alien voice filled with disdain. "What are you worried about, Rick Jones? He can't kill the Hulk." But the stakes are higher than ever. The Hulk, the most powerful being on Earth, is vulnerable, something no one ever thought possible. The tension in the air is suffocating. The fight has changed the course of everything, and the consequences will reverberate across the planet. Reed, desperate to find a solution, turns to Tony with urgency. "Tony, we have to stop this. With the stone ship down, the satellites should be back online." His words are frantic as the stakes grow higher with every passing second. Tony, still trying to calculate a way out, responds with a grim tone. "Tapped Baker David 5 and 6, but it's not nearly enough." His frustration is evident. The technology, the plans, they're not enough to halt the Sentry's overwhelming power. Suddenly, Brood, the alien ally, steps forward, taking a protective stance over Tony and Reed. His massive form shields them from the full force of Sentry's sun-like energy. Elo, bewildered, questions his actions. "Why are you saving them, Brood? They brought this on themselves." Brood's response is firm, his voice resonating with reason amidst the chaos. "And if only their lives were at stake, Elo, we might walk away. But we didn't come here to watch another world die." The weight of his words echoes the reality of the situation. The fate of their world and the Earth hangs in the balance. Back to Tony and Reed, the duo continues their work despite the growing pressure. Tony speaks up again, his voice tinged with hope. "Got the Chinese fire stars, working on the Russian experimental." Reed, focused on their mission, adds, "And there's the Shi'ar probe in Sector 5-7. They're piecing together a plan, one that might just be enough to stop the Sentry, but time is running out." Suddenly, the ground shakes as the Hulk rises again, his fury unyielding. With the power of the sun coursing through him, the Hulk's voice roars out in defiance. "Stupid humans, you think your machines can stop him?" The tension in the air is electric. With the Hulk's power and the Sentry's relentless force, it feels like the Earth is on the verge of destruction. And only one thing is certain: the outcome is still uncertain. The battle between the Hulk and the Sentry intensifies. Hulk roars, "Roar!" unleashing his fury upon his opponent. Sentry, with a calm yet taunting tone, responds, "Ah, Bruce, you have to tell me something. Does it always feel this good when you finally let go?" But Hulk's rage doesn't subside. Gak! He powers through the assault, both of them clashing once again. The sound of their fight fills the air. Shank! Ah! Jvm! Stlsk! Vam! Ta! The earth-shattering blows continue as they exchange strikes. Funny! Spiz! Spiz! Spack! Spiz! Sk. Their destructive power threatens to tear the world apart. In the midst of the chaos, Sentry's voice rings out, tinged with both sorrow and understanding. "All these years, I tried to calm you down. And now, at the end of it all, it's me who can't seem to stop. Goodbye, old friend." The weight of those words reflects the deep bond between the two, despite the battle and the finality of their confrontation. Meanwhile, Tony and Reed, working desperately to hack into the satellite systems, continue their efforts to stop the catastrophic battle. Reed, urging Tony to act, says, "Now, Tony." Tony, his focus unwavering, responds with tension in his voice. "Still hacking the database. Haven't measured the effects of the combined rays. Time is running out." Reed, realizing the urgency, pushes forward. "So narrow the scope of fire, call the containment teams, but we've got to hit them now." Their final hope to stop the destruction lies in this one last attempt, as the titans of Hulk and Sentry continue their destructive clash, leaving Earth hanging in the balance. The battle between the Hulk and Sentry reaches a devastating climax. Both heroes are badly bleeding, their bodies battered from the relentless fighting. Hulk's voice echoes through the chaos, full of rage and defiance. "Stupid. They can call you whatever they want. Savior, destroyer. All that matters is what you choose." With those words, the battle escalates to a cataclysmic level, the sheer force of their clash igniting an explosion of energy. The sun's power surges, creating a blinding explosion that shakes the very foundations of the battlefield. Boom! The earth trembles as their final strike unleashes a wave of destruction, leaving nothing but devastation in its wake. The world watches in horror as the two titans push to their absolute limits, unleash their ultimate fury, and the battle rages on with no clear victor in sight. As the battle between Hulk and Sentry rages on, the destruction seems endless. Their bodies, pushed to the brink of exhaustion, begin to return to normal. Slowly, both Hulk and Sentry's monstrous forms shrink back, transforming into their human selves. The sounds of their battered bodies shifting, scrack, frack, crack, fill the air as the Titans' fight winds down. Korg, Brood, and Ello watch in stunned silence as the Hulk's massive frame shrinks. "Who? Where is the Hulk?" they ask, unable to recognize the human figure standing before them. Rick Jones, looking at the transformed Hulk, speaks softly. "Within each of us lives the World Breaker, and the Sakarson who redeems the world. Today, finally, the Hulk knows who he is. Bruce, welcome home." But not everyone shares this understanding. Meek, still furious, shouts, "No, you are not done yet. Come back to us, Hulk." In a desperate attempt to force Bruce back into the fight, Meek pulls out a saber, aiming to strike. But before he can, Rick Jones makes a split-second decision. He pushes Bruce away, taking the full brunt of the blow for his friend. Svki. The sound of the saber stabbing Rick echoes through the air. Rick falls, wounded, but his sacrifice shows the depth of his loyalty to Bruce, the Hulk, and the cause they fought for. As Rick Jones lays on the ground, gravely injured from Miek's strike, Bruce's emotions boil over. The anger that has fueled him throughout this journey erupts once again with a guttural roar. Gurgpak! Bruce's body shifts, transforming back into the Hulk, stronger and more furious than ever. Without hesitation, Hulk charges at Meek, landing a devastating blow. Gra, Skoom, Slacklem. The sound of Hulk's attack reverberates in the air, and Meek's voice cracks with desperation. "No, Hulk, we're warbound. We stand with each other to the..." But before Meek can finish, another voice cuts through the chaos. A monstrous figure calls out, "Hulk, wait! Meek was your first friend. You can't." Meek, battered and on the edge of defeat, replies with conviction, "No, Rick was the first, so he can, and he will." Hack! In this moment of fury and sacrifice, the battle has become not just a war for justice, but a fight between old alliances and the breaking of bonds. Bruce, in his Hulk form, must now face the harsh truth of his choices. In a violent fury, the Hulk continues to unleash his rage on Meek, his fists pounding into the insect-like warrior again and again. Skak, splurp, sklruk. Each blow lands with the power of a wrecking ball, and Meek, battered and on the brink of collapse, struggles to speak through the pain. "Because this is what you were made for," Meek says, voice hoarse. "Don't let them stop you, Hulk. Never stop making them pay. That's what you taught me. That's why I killed them. That's why you'll kill me." And then, now you see. Meek's words drip with cold truth as he continues. "I always have to remind you, because you always forget. Like when you found your queen, all you wanted was peace, but that's not who you are. You conquered Sakaar, killed the Red King. We should have slaughtered his people, but you let them live." Meek reveals the ultimate betrayal. "So I watched them load an old warp core onto that shuttle. They thought it would kill you, but I knew it would just remind you of what you were made for." He breathes in sharply, "Ah," as Hulk's fists continue their brutal assault. Brood, witnessing the destruction, slaps Meek's face in fury. "The children you own, brother Hivelings, 1,000,000 souls." Meek's response is chilling as he whispers, "We all must die. All this passing, so the next thing can come. So the World Breaker can finally make an end." Hulk, hearing these words, lets out a guttural roar of anger. Smrkk. His rage intensifies, the air crackling with fury as he faces the devastating truth of what Meek has set in motion. A plan that has been years in the making, leading to this explosive confrontation. Reed Richards, trying to calm the raging Hulk, reaches out, his voice filled with empathy. "Bruce, it's all right. We'll help you this time." But Hulk, consumed by fury and pain, shouts back in a violent outburst, "Stop. None of this would have happened. I've hated you forever, almost as much as I hate myself. Do it before I break the world." The weight of his words is heavy, and the tension thickens in the air. Tony Stark, never one to back down from a difficult situation, takes charge. "God help us all," he mutters under his breath, his focus absolute. 3-meter focus. 1 9-millisecond burst every 100 milliseconds. Target TS-53. Anthony Stark dose. Commence tracking. Wait for my mark. As the satellite locks in on its target, a weaponized beam is prepared, ready to strike the Hulk. But inside his mind, the Hulk is consumed by memories, a dreamlike state where a voice softly whispers, "I will never leave you. I know, and now, I'll never leave you." The words echo, revealing a deep connection, an internal conflict that transcends the rage and violence of the moment. The storm within Bruce Banner is reaching its peak, and the world stands on the precipice, with Tony and the others now playing their final hand to stop the unstoppable. The fate of everyone hangs in the balance, as Hulk's internal struggle mirrors the impending external destruction. As the dust settles, the Hulk begins to transform, his massive form shrinking back to that of Bruce Banner, the man behind the monster. And with that transformation, the story of the Hulk reaches its defining moment, the culmination of his journey. Bruce, now standing as a normal human once again, reflects on the chaos that has unfolded and the choices that have shaped his path. He speaks with a quiet yet powerful truth. They can call you whatever they want, savior, destroyer. All that matters is what you choose. In these words, Bruce reveals the heart of his struggle, the conflict between the man he was and the beast he became. The battle is over, but the internal fight, the journey of self-acceptance and power, remains. As Bruce stands amidst the wreckage of his past, he turns to those around him. Bear witness to his choice, children, and give thanks to your gods, and then pray for their mercy. For tonight, the Hulk may sleep, but his rage will never die. The narrative closes with a somber understanding that even as the Hulk's storm has calmed, the fury that lives inside will never fully fade. The war may be over, but the Hulk story is far from finished. It's the end of World War Hulk, but a new chapter for Bruce Banner begins. One where the legacy of the Hulk's rage will continue to shape him forever.